I just have the regular cable in my room. Yeah, I have a cable in my room in the living room so we can look at football games together in the fall. You know, we have the family over. But, what we look at is SEC football, Southeastern Conference, you know, Alabama, LSU, yeah, oh yeah, Arkansas, A&M. Now, where is Arkansas Tech located? Which city? Yeah, I don't. It's Jay Davis. Yeah. Where is it? I've not heard of it. Arkansas Tech? Okay. Good.
I had a nephew. They liked it.
NTSU, North Texas State, North Texas State University, yeah. She's here, but I don't know why she. Okay.
Do what?
We're ready.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, April the 25th, 2022. We'd like to welcome all of you who are joining us in the audience this evening, as well as those who are joining us online. And at this time, I will call on our City Secretary, Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Ms. Matlock?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Page?
Here.
Mr. Harp?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Here. We do have a full council this evening. And then also, council, just as a quick reminder, if you speak this evening, if you'll please make sure that your microphone is turned on. That way, in case the staff needs to go back and review the recording of our council meeting, they will be able to hear everyone clearly. So if you would do that, I would certainly appreciate it. Our invocation and pledge this evening will be led by Councilmember Jay Davis. If everyone will please stand.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight. Giving thanks for all the blessings
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Just have a few announcements to go over. We're beginning to be entering our busy time of the year with various types of community events that are taking place. So I'd just like to draw your attention to some of those. Before I do that, I will like to remind everyone that our next council meeting will be held on Monday, May the 9th at 6 p.m. Excuse me. And this will begin our, pardon me. This will begin our summer schedule. Excuse me. And then our next meeting will be held on Monday, June the 13th. So we'll only have one meeting during the month of May. In reference to our Parks and Recreation events, on April the 28th, which is this coming Thursday, we'll have the ribbon cutting for the inclusive playground that's located at Spring Lake Park. This is a very nice addition to our community, and we had the help from the local Boy Scouts and other sponsors to help make this a reality, and so we look forward to dedicating that playground on Thursday at 4:30 at Spring Lake Park. Also, the annual Scoutorama will be back this year, April the 29th through May 1st. It was not held last year due to COVID. And also the Black History Month parade has been rescheduled. It will be taking place this coming Saturday, May the 30th at 10 a.m. And the parade route will begin downtown at Broad and Hazel. And so encourage everyone to come out for our Black History Month. Once again, this parade was postponed earlier due to weather and other things. And so we look forward to having it coming up on this Saturday. In reference to May events, by the way, our farmers market will kick off this Saturday, April the 30th, and the farmers market is moving down near the federal courthouse building, so we have a new location for that. Excuse me. May events on May the 7th, the Alzheimer's Alliance Wine Fest will be held at Spring Lake Park. We do have Terry Arnold and Mr. Gathright here who will be providing more information on that shortly during comments from the public. May the 14th is the community yard sale at Spring Lake Park, along with the electronics recycling. So if you have an electronic item that you're no longer needing, you can drop it off at the location at Spring Lake Park on May the 14th. And then May the 21st and the 22nd is the FASA softball tournament at Carr Park. And May 21st and 22nd is the P2A baseball tournament, and that will be held at Spring Lake Park. So a lot of important events coming up in the community in the very, very near future. At this time, we move along to open forum comments from the public. If there's anyone in the audience this evening who would like to address the council, you are certainly welcome to do so. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak on any topic. We do ask that you complete one of these gold or yellow colored sheets if you would like to address the council. I do have one form that has been filled out by Terry Arnold and Gary Gathright, and they would like to share some information with the council in reference to the Twice as Nice Wine Festival. And if you all would just feel free to come over to the podium, we'll be glad to listen to your remarks this evening. And first of all, thank you for being here. And if you will go ahead and state your names for the record, and we'll have that. And,
yes, Terry Arnold and Gary Gathright. Good evening, Mayor Brueggemann and members of the council. Again, I'm Terry Arnold, the Executive Director for the Alzheimer's Alliance, and we are here tonight to publicly acknowledge and thank the City of Texarkana, Texas, Robbie Robertson, and the Parks and Recreation Department for partnering with the Alzheimer's Alliance in our upcoming major fundraiser, the Twice as Fine Texarkana Wine Festival. Will be held at Spring Lake Park on Saturday, May the 7th. Next Saturday, we will celebrate our 7th annual festival, 7 years at beautiful Spring Lake Park. In the past 7 years, we have raised almost $2 million. This event is vital to help the Alzheimer's Alliance sustain our services. 100% of all proceeds remain right here in our community to support families dealing with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. This would not be possible without the support of the City of Texarkana, Texas. The Twice as Fine Texarkana Wine Festival is a celebration of art, food, music, and wine. Over 12,000 people attended our event last year. This year, we have 26 wineries that will be participating from all across the state of Texas, 62 artisan merchants, 11 food vendors, and live music all day. It is a family-friendly event, and there's something for everyone. Our deepest gratitude to the City of Texarkana, Texas, and all departments involved in helping with this event. We truly love calling Spring Lake Park our home for the Texarkana Wine Festival. And if you allow, I would like to introduce our operations director for the festival for a few additional comments. Gary Gathright.
Thank you, Ms. Arnold.
Thank you, Terry. I'm not exactly sure I know what operations director means. I can tell you that I'm one of many that we team up to put this festival on. It takes about 50 of us to plan this event for almost an entire year to pull this together, and not including the numerous volunteers on the day before and day of to set up and strike the event, and basically turn the park back into the park by Saturday evening when we leave, except for a few major items that are moved later on. We certainly, I echo Terry's sentiments. We appreciate the partnership with you, the city, from the use of the park to planning to the cleanup, the setting up and striking of the event. It takes all of us, and from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for that support as a citizen. That support that the city gives takes many forms, and Terry touched on it, but we could not put this festival on. It would not be the success that it is for the Alzheimer's Alliance, for the city, without the work of Robbie Robertson and the Parks and Recreation Department. I can't speak enough. I could, but I've only got 1 minute and 16 seconds left, as to how much they actually do for us. They are highlights of the city. If I could give every one of them a pat on the back, I will. I should. I may not see every one of them that day, but I will do my best to do so. Our festival's repeatedly been voted the best event in Texarkana, and it's only possible because of that collaboration. And just on behalf of Terry, our event chairs, all of our volunteers, I want to thank you again and invite everyone to come out next Saturday, May the 7th, to Spring Lake Park for the Twice as Fine Wine Festival. Thank you.
Well, we certainly thank you for what you all do. We're glad to be partners with you all, and you all provide a tremendous service for our community. I know that all of us here either know someone or have a family member who has gone through Alzheimer's or dementia, and it's a very challenging time for those involved. And so we certainly appreciate the services that you all provide to our community.
And thank you.
All right, very good. All right, is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? If not, we'll move along to our appointments to boards and commissions and committees. Do we have any appointments to be made by the council this evening? I would like to share with the council, I did receive a letter earlier today. This letter is from Mr. Marshall C. Wood. It's directed to Mr. Kyle Dooley with Riverbend Water Resources. It says, "Dear Kyle, I am writing to formally announce my resignation from the Board of Directors. My current schedule simply does not permit the time I feel it is necessary to continue to serve in my capacity as a board member. I've enjoyed serving on this board and working with you, the board and Riverbend staff. I wish you and Riverbend continued success in your endeavors. Sincerely, Marshall C. Wood." And certainly Mr. Wood is in the audience this evening, along with Kyle Dooley, the Executive Director of Riverbend, as well as Sonia Hubbard, who serves on the Board of Directors at Riverbend. And we want to, on behalf of the council, thank you, Mr. Wood, for your service. You basically were there from the ground level. You've been through the thick and thin of the Riverbend and board directors, and Riverbend is in a very, very great position this day and time due to partly due to your effort as well as the board. And so a lot of exciting things are coming up for our region, and just want to thank you for your service to the board. Is there anything that you would like to share? Yes.
You know, if you ask a lawyer if they want to say
I
something,
know.
have a hard time
Right.
messing that up.
And we'll probably get a bill for it too after we speak, so. Just kidding.
Just tell me where to send it. I wanted to thank y'all very much for this opportunity. It has been a pleasure to be a representative for the city of Texarkana on the Riverbend Water Resource District Board. I've often told Steve I don't know whether to love him or hate him for appointing me. It has been challenging and hard at times, but it has always been rewarding. And the people that I have had a chance to work with, the friendships I've made, the things that I believe we've been able to accomplish has been very rewarding, and I, again, appreciate y'all entrusting that to me. And so I wanted to have that opportunity to tell you that. And it's easier to do this with my schedule, knowing that somebody such as Steve is willing to step in and help in that regard, somebody who has the institutional knowledge. This city has been very supportive when it comes to us pursuing water rights and water infrastructure issues that benefit the city and our region. And I hope and I know that you will continue to do that. And with having said that, I wanted to tell you thank you again.
Thank you, Marshall. We certainly appreciate your service. Water is a very, very important topic in our region. We also have in the audience Kelly Mitchell, who serves on the Sulphur River Basin Authority Board, another critical board in our area. And Kelly, thank you for your efforts. You know, you have to travel long distances for your meetings and other business relating to the SRBA, and so I want to thank you for your service as well. And with that said, Council, I would like to appoint former, pardon me?
We give Marshall a hand before we move on.
Well, sure, yeah. All right. Mr. Mitchell, would you like to come and preside over the rest of the meeting? Or Don't answer that. Don't answer that. So, anyway, thank you for bringing that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, but Marshall, once again, thank you for your service. And with that said, I'd like to appoint former mayor and our city water liaison, Steve Mayo. Steve is interested in serving on this board. So, with your approval, then this would be serving the remaining term that Marshall had, which will expire or end on, as far as this term, would end on 12/31 of 2023. So December 31st of next year is when Marshall's original term would have ended. So I would like to appoint Steve Mayo to fill that open position on the Riverbend Water Resources District Board.
With regret, I will make that motion.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Davis and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, Marshall, thank you. Steve, do you have anything you'd like to say? Okay. And by the way, Steve has his son Reese with him this evening, who is with Troop 86. So Reese, thank you for taking time to be with us this evening as well. All right, Steve?
Well, I want to thank Marshall again. I think I talked most of them into being on Riverbend. And so I'm glad we're all still friends, because a lot of them came in when Riverbend was having a tough time. So, and I've dealt with water with you guys since about 2015 and been involved helping them. Reese was born a year after we formed Riverbend. So it's been a long time coming. But I really appreciate it, and we will continue to do our best. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you for your service as well. At this time, we'll move along to our items for consideration this evening. We do have 4 items on the consent agenda. Item 1 is to consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on April 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Item 2 is resolution number 2022-040, authorizing the city manager to execute a 4-year contract with Verizon Wireless Communication Technology Services of Irving, Texas, in an amount not to exceed $49,800 annually, with funds budgeted in the departmental budgets to supply wireless communication and services for the city personnel and equipment. Item 3 is resolution number 2022-041, authorizing the city manager to execute a one-time purchase with Government Smart of Charlottesville, Virginia, in an amount not to exceed $192,155.33, with funds budgeted from a Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant and Red River Army Depot to supply a 3D printer, scanner, equipment, and service to Red River Army Depot. Item number 4 is resolution number 2022-042, authorizing the city manager to execute a one-time purchase with Creaform USA Incorporated of Irvine, California, in an amount not to exceed $273,142, with funds budgeted from a Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant and Red River Army Depot to supply a 3D printer, scanner, equipment, and service to Red River Army Depot. Unless a council member would like to pull one or more items for further consideration, I will accept a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented. We have a motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Consent agenda has been approved. Moving along to action items, we have one action item this evening. It's item number 5, ordinance number 2022-035, approving the redistricting of the city's single-member council wards and establishing new ward boundary lines for Texarkana City Council elections based on 2020 census data. And council, this item is before you for your consideration this evening. We've had some meetings on this. We've had open forum meetings with our company, that consulting company that's doing the work for us or has done the work for this in reference to the redistricting of our wards. Ward 5 was about 1,000 citizens over in population, and wards 1 and 2 were about 500 short in each one of those wards. And so I think there's been some very good work involved in redistricting, realigning our wards, and I would entertain any questions or comments that the council would like to make at this time pertaining to this matter.
I have a question.
Ms. Matlock?
Did we get any input from the public about anything that they didn't like, or did they agree?
We received one comment, and it was from a resident outside the city limits regarding annexation into the city for redistricting purposes. But no residents commented on the plan.
There was, yes, a comment period for the public to respond if they chose to do so. All right. Any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart and a second by Councilmember Matlock. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, approving the redistricting of the city's single-member council wards and establishing new ward boundary lines for Texarkana City Council elections based on 2020 census data and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. Moving along to our first briefings. We do have a few first briefings scheduled for this evening, a total of 5. Item 1 is resolution number 2022-034, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with HUB International, Texas, of Dallas, Texas, in an amount not to exceed $50,000, with funds budgeted in the Employee Benefits Fund, Fund 702, to provide consulting services for insurance benefits provided to city employees. We will have a council vote on this particular item at our next meeting on May the 9th. We have J.W. Bramlett to brief us on this item this evening. So good evening, J.W.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The city put out a request for proposal back in January for the benefits insurance consulting services. At the request of the Budget Advisory Committee and under the guidance of the City Council, And it was definitely time to do that. This will ensure that we continue to receive the best overall quality of service from our consultant and the best overall cost of services. And I wanted to touch on a few highlights that aided the city's team in selecting Hub as the finalist, because we did receive 6 submissions from different companies for these services. The city's team narrowed that down to 4 organizations, and we conducted in-person interviews with those 4, and then again ultimately narrowed that down to a lone finalist of Hub International. So the first key point as to what aided the city in selecting Hub is Hub has negotiated $50,000 in reimbursements for the city's wellness fund, the city's wellness program. And wellness is a key part in helping to mitigate long-term diseases and medical issues with our employees, which will hopefully in turn result in long-term lowered cost for those insurance and medical services. And so Hub negotiated $50,000 from what was originally proposed as $25,000. And that money comes from Blue Cross Blue Shield, so our third-party administrator. Now, prior to Hub becoming our consultant, and Hub has been our current consultant since 2012, but prior to Hub becoming our consultant in 2012, the city did not receive any allowances or reimbursements for wellness. And so now we receive $50,000 annually that goes to fund our wellness program. The second item to note is that Hub negotiated rebates from CVS as our pharmacy beneficiary, okay? We have budgeted $454,000 in rebates for this year that they did negotiate for us as the city, and we're tracking to receive about $500,000 in rebates by year's end. Now again, prior to Hub becoming our consultant in 2012, the city was receiving approximately $24,000 annually in rebates for our pharmacy. And if you kind of compare that back to 2012 to what other organizations were receiving, other organizations similar in size to the city were receiving about 3 to 5 times the amount of rebates that we were receiving. So that was essentially money left on the table that we were not getting, and now we're tracking to receive $500,000 this year in rebates from CVS. And then the last point I just want to make is our fund balance. So the fund balance is a good indicator of the overall health of our long-term self-insured plan that we have. And the current fiscal year was budgeted at $1.57 million in that fund balance. Now that amount of money is equivalent to 31% projected health and prescription plan claims expenses. So with Hub, we've set a benchmark of 25% is what we want to be at or above to feel like we're in a healthy place with our fund balance. And again, we're at 31%. So we're sitting at a healthy place with our fund balance for the long term, which will help us and able to have a good benefits package with regards to insurance, not just for recruitment, but also retaining our employees, which I'm sure, as you've all been aware, has been a tough thing to do over the last couple of years to both recruit and retain employees. Lastly, Hub has worked with us to create a 5-year plan that we work off of with the Budget Advisory Committee, and we're utilizing that plan year in and year out to ensure that we continue to monitor cost control measures to ensure the long-term health of our self-insured insurance plan. We do plan to have a representative from Hub here at the council meeting on May 9th when you all vote. So if you have more specific questions directly to them at that time, then they'll be glad to answer them at that time. And then if you have any questions for me tonight, I'll be glad to try to answer those now.
All right, thank you, J.W. Very good report. Any questions by the council? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving along to item number 2, ordinance number 2022-036, granting a specific use permit to allow the location of a single-wide HUD code manufactured home on lots 1 and 2, Block 2, Grandview Edition, located at the southwest corner of Finley Street and McBride Street. Curtis Murray, owner. And we will have a public hearing on this item as well as the other remaining items on our first briefing's agenda. Public hearing scheduled for May 9th, and then council vote that same night as well. Michelle Daniel will be here to brief us on the next 4 items. So good evening, Michelle. How are you?
Good. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as you said, this is a request for a specific use permit to allow the location of a double-wide HUD code manufactured home as a residence located at the southwest corner of Finley Street and McBride Street. The property is currently zoned single-family 3 and is vacant land. The adjacent zoning is single-family 2 to the east and north and single-family 3 to the west and south. The adjacent land use is residences to the west and vacant land to the east, west, and south. And the future land use map shows a designation of neighborhood residential. Staff and Planning and Zoning do recommend for approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle on this item? Okay, all right, thank you. Item number 3, ordinance number 2022-037, granting a specific use permit to allow the location of a daycare on approximate 2.58 acre tract of land, being Tract 3, Chancellor Beach Headright Survey, A-731, located at 3700 North Robeson Road. Christine Bolton, owner. Michelle?
Good evening again. So this is a request for a specific use permit, as you said, to allow a daycare or preschool located at 3700 North Robeson Road, and the property is currently zoned multiple family 1 and is currently a church. The future land use map has designated this property as office institutional. The adjacent zoning is general retail to the north, south, east, and west, and the adjacent land use is businesses to the north, south, and west, and vacant land to the east. A specific use permit is required to allow a daycare use in this zoning district, and so staff and Planning and Zoning does recommend for approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle? All right. Item number 4, ordinance number 2022-038, granting an amendment to PD-20-6 GR for site plan approval on Lot 1, Block 1, Richmond Moores subdivision located at 5605 Richmond Road. Kurt Patton, PHRMG Developers, owners, and Marcus Foran, agent. Michelle?
As you said, this is a request for site plan approval at 5605 Richmond Road, and the property is currently vacant land. The adjacent zoning is planned development, general retail to the north, south, and west, and general retail to the east. The adjacent land use is a car wash to the north, a restaurant and multi-tenant general retail to the south and east, and vacant land to the west. The future land use map designates this property as neighborhood neighborhood retail. And the site plan consists of the construction of a 6,092 square foot building. The facade will be stone and brick. The access driveway will be off Richmond Road and Moores Lane. There will be 84 parking spaces and 4 handicap spaces. There will be a 35-foot pole sign. A screen dumpster will be located in the northwest corner of the parking lot, and the drive-through will be located at the south side of the building. Staff and Planning and Zoning do approve this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle? Perhaps they'll bring ice cream to the public hearing on May 9th. So, all right. Thank you, Michelle. Moving along to item number 5, ordinance number 2022-039, rezoning lots 11 and 12, Block 5, Watts Edition, located at 1324 Bowie Street, from 2-family 1 to commercial. Thomas Turner, owner, and Jerry Johnson, agent. Michelle?
So this is a request to rezone 1324 Bowie Street from 2-family 1 to commercial. The proposed use is a food truck park. The property is currently vacant land. The adjacent zoning is 2-family 1 to the north and east, office to the west, and general retail to the south. The adjacent land use is vacant land to the north, residential to the east and south, and a church to the west. The future land use map shows mixed-use development. This property is near Grimm Stadium in an area that is zoned with mixed uses, and so therefore staff and Planning and Zoning recommend approval of this request, and I will be happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
So Michelle, this is kind of a new concept for our city. So are there specific hours of operation for this type of a establishment, or how does all that work?
That's a good question. We will have specific hours of operation as far as the quiet times for the city, which I do believe is after 10, from 10 to 7 in the 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so that will be stipulated.
Okay.
Right now, she's just trying to get the zoning through,
Right.
and she has this preliminary site layout until she can get the other details worked out.
Very good. All right. Council, Ms. Matlock?
Have we heard from the neighbors yet?
No, ma'am, we haven't heard from the neighbors.
This is 13th and Bowie, and Milam. Is it anywhere close to Milam, or is it back east?
It's a street or two over, it's just really about a block or 2 blocks from Grimm Stadium, the football stadium.
Right.
You can kind of
Where
see it at the
stop
bottom of
is.
the screen there, the parking lot at the stadium.
I don't know if it shows.
Yeah.
This is Grimm Stadium here.
It's in a residential area. It's right one block up from, that used to be a flea market or something, that Freeman's,
Freeman's, right there.
one block up on the corner.
Right, and catty corner is neighborhood services, and then also to the south is general retail. So it is a mixed-use area.
And then the apartments are kind of across the street.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this item? All right. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Appreciate the reports. We do not have any public hearings scheduled this evening. At this time, we'll move forward to our city manager's report. Dr. Orr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few items to update you on tonight. First off, our sales tax continues to be strong. It totaled $1.4 million in February. That's an increase of 21% over the prior year. Year-to-date collections are up 14.16% compared to last year. Waste Management has invited us, staff and council members, to tour the newly remodeled transfer station, and that's at 2708 West 7th Street. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, April 26th at 1 p.m. This is the facility that was remodeled in order to handle our new recycling program. And so, speaking of recycling, we received the report for March, and it's up 79 tons. So we continue to see an upward trend in recycling after the restart in the program from last year. Our budget preparation is underway, and so our Budget Advisory Committee, I wanted to just pass along a couple of dates for you. And thank you all for appointing your members at the last meeting. So Wednesday, May 11th will be our first meeting with the Budget Advisory Committee, and then Wednesday, May 25th, with this meeting is planned as a joint meeting with the City Council. So please mark your calendars for May 25th. That'll be a noon meeting till approximately 1 p.m. The Rose Hill Neighborhood Association was named Neighborhood Project of the Year for Noosa. Noosa is Neighborhoods USA. It's a conference that's coming up in a couple weeks in Little Rock. And so the finalists will be revealed at a luncheon Friday, May the 6th. But this project was in partnership with the Rose Hill Neighborhood Improvement Association, with the Scholars. If y'all know Rhonda Dolberry, Rhonda headed this program up, and then also the Housing Authority to reopen the neighborhood center and provide youth and adult programs as well. So we look forward to hopefully that announcement. And then one other announcement to make is our Arts and Historic District has an economic impact study. We have an intern from Texas A&M Texarkana that is working hard on this study, and so we have a survey that's been placed out, and I think you saw this information maybe downstairs as well in City Hall and at the Perot Theater and other venues. But we're asking the public to take this survey if they've participated in any Arts and Historic District events, and it just helps us kind of track the economic impact. It's very important as we apply for grants and other funding external for our nonprofit partners in the district. So, and with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, David. This time, move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council to the staff this evening? Mr. Hart?
Mayor, I do have one request, I guess I should say. I would like for the city administration to put on the agenda at an upcoming city council meeting for council consideration an ordinance that would name the bridge over Wagner Creek on the Gibson Lane extension in honor of Officer Jason Sprague of the Texarkana, Texas Police Department, who was killed in the line of duty about 10 years ago, I believe. I have talked with Chief Sheedy a couple of times over the past few months, and I know he's gone through city administration. So I would ask that this item be put on the agenda for council consideration at an upcoming meeting.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Harp. Anything else from the council? I just would like to pass along congratulations to Texas A&M University Texarkana for 50 years of service in our community. It's hard to believe it's been since 1971, but they have some upcoming activities relating to that, and so I just want to pass along sincere appreciation to higher education in our community, which is extremely important as far as providing an educational experience, and also this is very important as far as economic development in our city as well for our centers of higher education. So I want to congratulate A&M Texarkana. Any other comments from the council? All right. Unless there's any further business to be brought before the council, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. We have a motion by Councilmember Harp and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much for being here with us this evening.